Hello and welcome. You're watching Trending Tech on NewsX World, where we bring you latest tech breakthroughs, trends, and gadgets from around the world. Crypto is rapidly transforming the way people store, manage, and transfer digital assets globally. Individuals, tech companies, and financial institutions are investing heavily in self-custody wallets and decentralizing infrastructure to enable secure, transparent, and direct control of the funds. Powered by blockchain networks and advanced cryptography, these tools let users send and receive crypto assets, interact with decentralized applications, and participate in the emerging Web3 ecosystem. Governments are exploring regulatory frameworks, while the private sector is developing new features to improve security and usability. Major tech platforms are also integrating crypto wallets to support digital payments and asset management. Momentum is strong. However, full adoption faces significant challenges, including user education, scam prevention, and regulatory compliance. These issues must be addressed before crypto wallets can safely, reliably become a standard tool in everyone's digital life. To talk about this, joining us now is Rick Krieger. He is a CEO and Director of Global Operations at Trust Wallet. He oversees strategic initiatives, data analytics, and regulatory compliance for the largest self-custody wallet with over 200 million downloads and 17 million monthly active users. Previously, Rick co-founded two startups, HopR, if I'm pronouncing correctly, and a Web3 privacy protocol, and Sonect, which is a Switzerland-based fintech company. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to NewsX World. Mr. Rick Krieger, my first question to you is, for people who are new to crypto, what exactly is a self-custody wallet and why does it matter?
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Well, the explanation is pretty simple as far as possible. A self-custody wallet is an app that lets you hold crypto by yourself. So you are the person who controls usually they call it a recovery phrase or a secret phrase, also called nomic or private key. And the beauty of it is that no bank or exchange can move your funds without your approval. At the end of the day, you are the one who is holding these funds and moving these funds. You can think of it a little bit like a password manager for money. The app, for example, Trust Wallet, helps you use your funds, but you hold the master key. Now, the question is, why does this matter? It removes any single point of failure, company freezing accounts, going offline, company goes bankrupt, collapsing, closing, whatever. Any governmental influence who tells you to, close the funds of somebody in doubt, because they're having some investigations, and it works anywhere on the internet. So there is no account approval needed in order to open it. Everybody's able to do it by him or herself. The original idea of crypto is that everything is open source and all the users hold their own assets. And one opportunity here is Trust Wallet, which has now over 220 million downloads since a few days, and over 1 million of them are weekly active users in India.
Wow, I had no clue. Thank you for sharing that. And why do you think crypto has become such a big part of modern technology?
I think besides the thrill, there is three simple drivers. It's the digital ownership, open and accessible for everyone, and the global reach. So digital ownership, for the very first time, the internet has scarce programmable assets. The second one, open and accessible to everyone, is anyone is able to build on top of blockchains without any permission. You don't have to ask anybody. You just have to know how you do it, and then you're able to build it by yourself. It's like an open API for anybody, or in the terms of cryptos, it's for value. And the global reach, one wallet works across all borders. Value moves at the speed of internet, with all transactions being self-initiated and secure.
Right. You said anyone. Does a person has to be 18 plus?
Absolutely anybody. So there is no limitation in terms of age. I mean, it would be nice if the user understands what he or she is doing, and it's a little bit complicated. Also, with the current user interface, I think we became a lot better, but we're still a little bit where users need to educate themselves on what they're doing and how they're doing. But there's no age limitations, as you say. And
That's
that's the
correct.
beauty of the internet, or the beauty of the Web3, that there's nobody who is able to say, hey, you're not old enough, you're too young. Nobody says like, yeah, I don't like you, or has any other reasons to deny you. Everybody is able to download the application and install it and use it.
That's so interesting. And from a technology standpoint, what makes a crypto wallet work behind the scenes?
That is a little bit complicated. At the end of the day, a crypto wallet is like a web browser, like you know it, Brave, Chrome, Safari. So it just gives you access in order to do something on chain, in order to interact, move funds. We're not doing anything for you. We're just the interface, like the browser. To be a little bit more precise, there's a key management. You know, the app generates and stores your private key, as we said before, the mnemonic, the seed phrase. It is usually stored on your device if it's a good wallet like Trust Wallet. Then the transaction building itself, it prepares a transaction, who you pay or what you pay, how much you send, and on which network. Then the app or the wallet uses your key to sign it and send the crypto. And then the network, it sends that signed transaction to the blockchain network to be confirmed. And then, of course, it's important that usually a good wallet would also have security by design, which means like there's a biometric lock, hardware secure enclaves on your phone, et cetera, which make it pretty secure, as long as you do not, lose your device. Here in this case, it's really important that when your device is lost and you do not remember this mnemonic or the seed phrase, the 12 or the 24 words, then your crypto stuff is lost. But that's also the beauty of it. As long as your device is not lost, but maybe it's broken or died down, or as long as somebody trying to hack it, as long as you remember these 12 or 24 words, you're able to move anywhere to any device in order to recover your cryptos and move it from A to B.
And what are the most common mistakes beginners make when storing crypto, and how can people avoid such mistakes?
Talking again about the mnemonic or the key phrase or the seed phrase, the 12 to 24 words, I think sharing the recovery phrase is a very common mistake. And this can happen because people do not understand the importance of it. It can also happen that there is a fake support contacting these people, airdrop sites, which is suggesting amazing opportunities in order to do something. So it would be a little bit like you share the login details of your e-banking details. Then, of course, everybody is able to, do something malicious with it. The second thing is not backing up the recovery phrase. The recovery phrase, these 12 or 24 words, they should be written down on a piece of paper and stored somewhere safely where nobody, is able to find it. You shouldn't store it on your laptop or computer or in the notes, for example, of your phone, because it's like sharing your login details on the same device where you have the application who's running it. That would be a very good opportunity for everybody who wants to do something malicious. Then, of course, blindly installing browser extension or signing pop-ups which are popping up in order to, do something with a wrong or malicious site. Like, for example, if you go to support.trustwallet.com, then this is the official site for questions from the user to our customer service team. But on the other side, if you go to a site which pretends to be the Trust Wallet support page, and then it's not support.trustwallet.com, but for example, fake support at trustwallet.com. The URL is a little bit different, looks similar to what we do, but then they might ask you for your seed phrase. We would never ask you for your login details. Like your bank or your credit card would never ask you for these details, or contacting you in order to ask for these details. And then I think another very common mistake is mixing funds. it's a little bit like you're mixing US dollars with Indian rupees. They are different railways which are out there. But if you move Indian rupees without converting them into US dollars, then you can't use them in the United States. So mixing funds across random networks or different chains like Polygon, Binance chain, et cetera, without understanding the fees, the gas fees, and the bridges might be a potential risk.
Okay, I see. Thank you for sharing that. And why do people fall for crypto scams, and how can tech help prevent such?
I think because these scams sound very interesting, and many people come to the crypto world because they believe they can make out of $10,000 overnight. Here, I think in general it applies. If it is too good to be true, then maybe ask twice. Usually, these scammers are very clever. They usually always pressure you. There's a certain urgency in order to claim a reward. It's usually a very limited time to mint a token or to get an airdrop. Sometimes they're very pressuring you. Sometimes they're very chilly pressuring you by saying, yeah, you don't have to do it, but then you're losing lots of money. So it's a little bit the same, just framed in a different work. As I said before, there's many lookalike sites which with tiny misspelled domains. Sometimes there's emails coming in like trustwallet@gmail.com, or we have our own trust wallet domain. So any email, we would never contact one of our users in order to suggest anything. We're the interface to make it happen, like the browser. And your Safari and your Brave browser is not contacting you and telling you, hey, if you react now and go to this page, you get free rewards. This is, something which we
Yes.
don't accept, and then we will think that this is a scam. Now, it's a
Yeah.
little bit the same in the crypto world. And how technology can help prevent it. Trust Wallet has a built-in scam filter, which usually warning people this might be a risky token, or this might be a risky transaction, or this might be a risky transaction. Sometimes people are anyway because they believe that this is true. Then sometimes people have problems. These built-in warnings, which we have multiple times along the route, it would be good if people, especially if they're not very much experienced, if they follow these warnings, and maybe if there is a flag, contact our user support and ask, hey, is this something which might be malicious? Usually these things which you're able to do on the chain are not super time relevant, and our customer service is usually pretty fast. So usually you get a reply within 24 to maximum 48 hours. So asking twice might be something. Treat
Right.
these messages, like you treat unknown callers. If you don't know these people, then usually, and if it sounds too good to be true, then double
Yeah.
check. Maybe with
Yeah.
a friend, or the customer service team.
100%. Thank you for laying it out in a simple manner. Very helpful. Now, moving on, if Web3 becomes the next version of the internet, what role will wallets play in it?
There's multiple scenarios. At the end of the day, crypto wallets, decentralized self-custody wallets like Trust Wallet, for example, tend to be the door or the main gateway to the internet. Because if you want to sign any transaction, if you want to interact with decentralized applications on chain, then you need an interface. Again, just like a web browser, you don't want to interact with the site itself. You need some browser to demonstrate it. So login with a wallet, as you might know, maybe from Gmail addresses, might replace passwords from cryptographic sign-ins. It's way beyond what we see and moving assets. It could be a portable identity and assets where you store NFTs or tokens which verify that you are a real person, that you have a profile, that you own collectibles, which show balances or move such balances across accounts. Your wallet could be like your digital passport in the future. And then, of course, payments built in. Currently, your email address itself is not being able to pay anything. When you sign up for something, you need to sign in with Gmail, and afterwards you need to use your credit card. With wallets, it could be done in one. It would be much easier to pay or get paid natively without any card processes in the background. Our vision here is a little bit that we're the one-stop shop for all of this. One app to access all decentralized applications, doing the signing, doing the payment if needed, having verified or certified users, and carry your digital assets, topics across various platforms to make the usability of the Web3, which at the end of the day wants to be a better Web2, much better.
Right. Thank you for highlighting that. And lastly, looking at the future, Mr. Krieger, what does the future of crypto wallets look like in the next 3 to 5 years?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what happens in the next 3 to 5 days in the crypto industry is always very interesting.
Yes, of course.
There's some likely shifts. I think one of the important things is the safer by default technology, better phishing warnings, simpler revokes of transaction, human readable transactions, which make it a lot easier. Trust Wallet 2026 preview here is, collective intelligence security, multi-provider and AI enhanced defense mechanisms built into our wallet. We're very heavy on education because we want to explain our user what he or she is doing and why this is needed or not needed to do so. Security here is very much tied to the next generation AI assistant in order to support you and help users using it so that they better understand what they are asked to do, with just-in-time explainers and warnings. So users learn what they're doing while doing this transaction. And then, of course, usability within the wallet is a big topic. Account abstractions, recovery without seed phrases, social account recovery, smarter fee handling, gas fee payments, multi-chain abstractions for less visibility so that you do not need to understand which assets you're moving from which chain, but that this all comes in handy and is explained a little bit easier for everybody, just how we already implemented on the most common chains. Trust Wallet has over 120 chains integrated. That makes it unbelievable, amazing in order to move so many tokens from left to right. But this freedom also comes at a cost of how the user understands what he or she is able to do.
Right. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Rick Krieger, for speaking to us on Trending Tech and sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. With that, it's a wrap on this episode of the Trending Tech. For more tech updates and innovations, stay tuned to NewsX World.